All right, so starting with what a good position is. Fuck. Not there though. All right.
Okay, we got it.
Get the jitters out. What's up, guys? I'm Alex.
I'm Jason. We're the Table Monkeys, and we're here with another video to talk about martial arm wrestling. We want to talk about movement on the table, the difference between the way that your body is positioned and where you are positioned on the table. So we're going to define that as shape versus position. So shape is the way your body is positioned, and position is where you are on the table.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with what a good shape is. A good shape could look like a high hook, where I've got all my fundamentals intact. I've got my elbow inside my body, I've got my wrist bent, I've got the high hand, and I've got my pronation intact.
Yeah.
I'm in a good shape, an effective shape, and that puts him in a ineffective
Very bad shape.
Exactly. Where I've got multiple muscles engaged against his one muscle.
Yeah, so because my pronation is turned over, I'm outside my body, and my arm is away from, my hand is also away from my body. Like Alex said, that basically puts all the pressure on my bicep. And maybe there are other shapes where you'd be all on your elbow or all on your shoulder or left all on your hand, right? But the idea is, like Alex said, he's got multiple muscles. The shape that he's maintained is getting everything involved versus very little on my side, which is really the objective of arm wrestling. And it doesn't really matter his position on the table if he maintains that shape. He's in a better position than me, right? So this is the next point, is the idea that we're talking about moving on the table, is you want to use your position on the table to try to gain or maintain shape, the way Alex just was there, where he's going to hold that high hook position, and then wherever I go, he's just going to follow it or go with it to maintain that shape. So he's not using all those muscles that he's got engaged to hold that shape. He's not trying to maintain shape by using those muscles. So what that would look like, if I had the high hook and Alex goes to drive me this way, I hold my position and try to maintain my shape with all my musculature, and this pulls me way, like my shape way out, and I haven't moved position. Where if we went back here, I've got this high hook. As Alex drives, I move my position on the table to maintain my shape. This is much more effective, and I'm much more in the match now, even though I'm on his side of the table position wise. My shape is still much more efficient, so I'm still much more in the match, right?
Yeah, I'm more likely to then lose my shape by trying to gain position.
Yeah, which is a big thing that you see a lot. You see a lot of guys, and you hear us talk about it a lot, about hitting for position as opposed to hitting for a pin. Well, a lot of that is that you're trying to hit for a spot on the table and not just hit for the pin, because when you do that, like Alex said, you lose a lot of shape in going for position, right? So the thing with arm wrestling is that it's very static, right? So you want to maintain the static statue pressure, and you don't want to, like again, if I feel Alex pulling my hand away from my body, I don't want to try to hold it in tight like this as much as I want to go with the pressure and alleviate the pressure by giving up some position on the table to maintain that shape. And same way, if he was able to pull me out of shape and he's here, I don't really want to try to overpower him with my muscles and gain this position with a dynamic movement through my arm. I want to move my body, get in a good shape, and then try to use that shape, maintain it to pull him out of the position of his body or his shape, right?
Right. There's a million different ways that you can do that. One thing that everybody does in the warm-up, which is a really good tool to just learn how to keep your shoulder close to your hand, keep your body static while moving your body and moving your position, is the swings, right? So both parties get into a hook, they keep that shoulder connected to their hand, and you swing back and forth going for pins.
Yeah, and this is teaching you how to lose as well, right? Where it's much safer for me to follow my hand with my shoulder, but it's also much more effective as you learn how to arm wrestle, where if we were really doing pressure here, as I'm fighting Alex this way, I've used up all this pad, and now he's getting himself more out of position, and I'm still, his shape is failing,
Yep.
and my shape is still maintaining, and that's because I've used that position on the table to do that, right?
Yeah.
So the first one being like keeping your hand close to your shoulders, whether that's going sideways or even forward. So again, like if we're here, if Alex pulls me away, I keep my shoulders with my hand. The next thing that you would want to look at is being able to use the pad, right? So this is like what I did in the first one, where I'm all the way on this side of the pad. As Alex drives, I just let my elbow float on the pad to use up the position, right?
Yeah, and absorb that pressure.
Yeah.
And then another way you could do it is very, very common to see is if you're both top rolling and I start to lose either pronation or someone starts to take me through my shoulder, is to then follow your hand with the shoulder to reconnect with your back pressure to then still be able to apply that top roll pressure.
Yeah, and this is again when you see like newer pullers, what you'll see a lot is when they get pulled out this way, it's like they lean away from it. Like and we've talked about in the bicep tear, not only is it dangerous, but it's ineffective. Like you've now gone down to one muscle that you're relying on, and you're trying to put that muscle through like maximum force to regain position or shape, as we're calling it now, against somebody who most likely has many muscles involved. Like, how would that math ever work out? You'd have to be like so much bigger than your opponent, which all this martial arm wrestling, like we say over and over, is about when the match is tight, when the strength and all that is comparable, right?
Yeah, 100%. So in summary, shape is the relevance of your arm to your body, and position is the relevance of your elbow to the pad, right? And we love having big pads on our table because it allows for more freedom of movement, allows for the martial side of arm wrestling to be advanced, and allows for just more play on the table.
Yeah, more space, more options, right?
Exactly. And we were recently lucky to have Mac Tables sponsor our event and provide tables for our arm wrestling event, which allowed everybody to use 8x10 pads, which just allowed for more freedom of movement, more interesting matches. Matches lasted longer, and there was more techniques being able to be employed. Yeah,
we just put out a video with the highlights from that, and the match of the day, I think, really exemplifies that. Where, like, I don't want to say necessarily we got more good matches, although I think you would if you were to like do 2 tournaments with all the same people. But once we had a good match, it was like a really good match. Like once it was tight, it was really hard for people to just finish a match like quickly, and it allowed, like Alex said, for so many more techniques that when you watch the match of the day, like the amount of techniques that the guys went through, and that was an amateur match too. Both those guys are pretty good amateurs, like they're pretty decent arm wrestlers already, but they're still new to the game. And because they're instinctual and because they had all that freedom to move, it just made for such an exciting match. And all the other good matches of the day were really fun to watch because both the pullers had so many options to move, you know, and so that's why we use these 8x10 pads. We got them from the Mac tables, which we really like and support. And like Alex said, it was awesome to have them at our last event. We hope to use that table more, and it's just a way of trying to make arm wrestling not only more fun and more like what we think is more enjoyable for us as pullers, but a lot more enjoyable to watch, we think, right? So the martial arm wrestling side of arm wrestling is the part that I really think is intriguing. Although people think it is a strength sport, the thing that gets people the most interested is when they see somebody that looks clearly weaker than another person beat that person that looks stronger, right? When they see that David and Goliath thing happen, that's the thing that I think gets non-arm wrestlers so like intrigued 100%. By the sport. That's what intrigued us about the sport.
That's what made John Brzezinski such a great ambassador, right?
Of the sport, exactly, was his ability to do that. So the 8x10 pads promote that. Moving on the table promotes that. That's the video. Become a martial arm wrestler. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things.
Monkeys out.